Welcome to the Wildcast podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome in and welcome back to Wildcast Studios for another episode of the Wildcast podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats, brought to you by Alpha's Appliance Solutions, your premier destination for all KitchenAid, Maytag, and Whirlpool appliances. Right now, they got the Gen Air Luxury Redefined event. Save 15% when you purchase any 2 or 3 Gen Air products and save 20% when you purchase 4 or more qualifying products from now till New Year's Eve. As always, fan listeners, I am your host, Adam Lund. I am joined by your favorite co-hoster, Mr. YQM. And for this episode, Mr. QMJHL Draft, and really for any episode, Mr. Jeremy Boucher, you're alive, which means you survived Megan's driving.
Made it. Shout out to my wife, Megan. Finally got her driver's license after, over more than 10 years.
Yeah.
We did the drive to Doketown on Thursday morning. We left Moncton about 7 a.m., got there 8:30-ish. The instructor was ready to go. And as soon as
How nervous was she on the ride up?
She was nervous.
Yeah.
She was nervous. The road test itself was scheduled for half an hour. But like I said, he was ready for her as soon as we pulled in the parking lot. And I was like, okay, honey, good luck. So I walked over to the Tim's, which was maybe a 2 to 3 minute walk from the Service New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Sat down, opened my laptop, sent 2 emails, and then she says, I'm done.
Which
I was like, what?
But you did say if there's a time to get a test passed, it's in Doketown, New Brunswick.
Done. And it's funny because I saw on my walk to Tim's, I saw her drive by. And they pulled into the church parking lot, which is between, I don't know what the name of the church is, but it's between the Service New Brunswick and the Tim's.
Mm-hmm.
And they did the parallel parking. So I kind of watched her do the parallel parking, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw her got it in the first try. So I was like, damn, she's off to a good start. And then I went to, so next thing I know, she's, I've got a couple emails sent. She's let me know she's passed. So yes, anybody listening out there that wants to do a driver's test, book it in Doketown because it's only 10 minutes.
Yeah,
you have to parallel park. You have to go through the school zone, go on a hill, and park your car on a hill, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
and then drive back through the school zone back to the Service New Brunswick, and that's it. She was literally gone for no word of a lie, 10 minutes, and yeah. So she's fully licensed. She probably drove the car over the weekend more than I did.
You did have that. I think it was a tweet that you had that you came home and you're like, "Holy shit, my car's gone."
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, my wife got her license and I forgot. And I thought it was a joke until I talked to you at the big Como game. You're like, "No, that was real. That was a real thing. She actually took the car." Yeah,
it was Friday. I took the dogs out to do their business around lunchtime on Friday, and looked at my driveway, and car wasn't there.
Yeah.
So my immediate reaction was, well, my car was stolen. But after my heart stopped for a minute and I started to think, I realized, yeah, that's right. My wife's got her license now and she took it to work.
Yeah. And and it's never going to stop. But hey, you've got the freedom now, right? Like you don't have to always be driving the car, always having to plan around taking Megan to work or this or that. Or if we want to go on a road trip, you don't have to worry about it because Megan's got the kids at home. And
exactly
this weekend we can go to Charlottetown if we want.
Let's do it. I'm excited for that one.
So if you follow us on IG, which I know most of you do, in terms of How Kitchen, Megan got eliminated. A little bit of surprise. We had the Instagram story with our 3 Christmas movies. We both picked Elf. Yes. You went with Home Alone, Christmas with the Cranks. Yes. I went with The Grinch, and I wrote in vote a National Lampoon's. You can't make a Christmas movie, pick your top 3 without that movie. So I made that picture on there. I don't think I've ever seen Christmas with the Cranks.
You are a fool.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's pretty rare that I'll actually go and rent a movie.
Yeah. That was 20 years ago.
It's never on TV. Yeah, it's never on TV. So every year I seem to have to go on the on demand and pay, so $7.99 or whatever to rent it for 48 hours, and because it's just so good. It's a different storyline than some of the other ones, and I love it. I think it's absolutely hilarious. Tim Allen, other than the Santa Claus I mean, it's probably his best Christmas movie.
Right. Jamie Lee Curtis as well. Like,
Yep.
Now I'm looking at what it is. I feel like I've seen it, but I can't put it in my brain. So I think I'm going to put that one on the list to watch.
Absolutely do it
when we start decorating in December. And one that that wasn't on the list as well, that is a very underrated Christmas movie, Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn. You haven't seen that either?
No, I've seen it.
Okay,
I just haven't seen
Vince
it in a
Vaughn,
while.
and I can't think of what her. I can't think of what her name is. Reese Witherspoon.
Right.
Like, I think that's one of the more underrated ones. So stay tuned for more Christmas takes. And I think we're both on the hill that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. I'm not.
I think it is.
You do?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I can never remember. Yeah. I know Chris was always the one that was staunch on that one being in there. So
I'll call it a Christmas movie.
All right. Well, we got a jam-packed show. We got 2 guests. We got 1 backstage right now. So don't forget, as always, you can follow us on the social medias. Twitter, Moncton Wildcast. Instagram, Wildcast Podcast. TikTok, Wildcast Podcast. And as well on the YouTube, don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button. Lets us know you like what we're doing. And click the bell so you don't miss any podcast post games. Pause. All right, so we told you there's a couple guests, and it's a big weekend. I got my Moncton Flyers hoodie on. It is the Monctonian. So with everyone in town, this is a great time to talk about prospects coming into the league, talk about the prospects that we've drafted and how they're doing. And we figured why not bring someone on who's done a pretty good job of help picking some of these prospects and what it's going to be like. We're pleased to be joined by head scout of your Moncton Wildcats, Alex Gauthier. Alex, how are you tonight?
Very good, and you guys?
Doing well.
Yep. We're right where we thought this team would be, so we're doing absolutely well. I guess first question for me is as the Monctonian gets set. How are the draft boards looking? How are in terms of ranking? Have you guys started putting your boards together? When does that process start? Is it this weekend in the Monctonian, or do you already have some names and now it's just a matter of slotting them in after you see them live?
We are already well into the season in most league in Quebec and in Atlantic Canada. So guys have been around and watched a lot of games. So I read a ton of reports so far already. Yes, obviously on the Atlantic Canada part, the Monctonian will be an event where we will set our first Atlantic list. So we do split lists at that point. Quebec on one side, Atlantic Canada on the other side. And so we will set the Atlantic this weekend. We already have an event done with the Q Cup that was in the app in early October. So we went to the app for that event already, and plus the guys in Atlantic Canada, they watch their players on their side. On the Quebec side, there was the first under 17 AAA event last weekend in Quebec City. So what we did with the boys that were there, we set up the rating per teams for the Quebec under 18 AAA league. So we have that done. So we prepare the big event in December, which is the midget AAA, under 18 AAA challenge in Quebec in December in Châteauguay. That's where we are.
Like Adam said, this things are going pretty well here on ice with this team, and it's safe to say if Adam and I have we have our GM hats on every week, and we seem to think that we're going to be waiting a little bit before we pick up the draft next June. Things could happen, but that seems to be how it's looking. Are these tournaments really are you looking for are you not necessarily looking for the top guys, but are you looking for guys who you think are going to be available in the later rounds that are going to be good value picks that'll fit into the lineup down the road?
Obviously, yes. We look at all the players, the top one, and then we go on and on. At the end of the day, we will end up with about a list of 150 players and a side list of 15 to 20 goalies, depending on what's on there. So basically, rating from what we think are the best ones to 100 and some, and we'll just go by the list. And I can tell you that some player that we pick in the later rounds, they were guys that we will have picked probably 2 or 3 or some round higher than where we picked them. It's just normal. Teams are not looking at the same thing, so sometimes and then it goes by priority and stuff like that. I would say when we go in those events, we look at every eligible prospect, and then from there we will rank them and we will see how it turns out at the end of the day.
So if RGM hats are properly put on and we kind of know what's going on, I guess how much involved are you with Taylor? Are you on the phone once a week with him on, he's thinking we're not going to have picks, let's say till 4 or 5, or we could have picks around here, or who do you think we could acquire in terms of from other players for down the road? Like how much of your time is spent between your other scouts putting lists together for this draft and talking to Taylor about the draft or about the trade deadline period, which is basically a month away from right now?
We are at a point, obviously, in our cycle that we think more about winning than about the next draft. So picks are
I'll take it.
the the picks are secondary right now. What we have less, what we will end up having at the end of the day, will be what we will be end up having. And I'm fine with that. We will do it if we end up drafting in the 4th round to start with. We will then start in the 4th round. I will be always happy with that. Our pick situation isn't that bad right now for this year and the next 2. So, and we did shop some main key piece and Vidicek, McKinnon, and the Euros didn't cost any picks, and so we are, we're not that far off as far as acquiring. I'm not saying that there's not going to be any trades. Not That's not what I mean, but I would say we are in great shape right now. We will spend, but we will see how much we will spend. As far as communication with Taylor, I would say we text about every day about different subjects. So we exchange messages, and sometimes I will do some major junior games as well. So not only midget, but I would go to major junior and put reports in so we can read those. And obviously, when I know the league relatively well, so when there's players that I like, I communicate with them. Like I saw this team, we already went around what the target could be for the trade period, so just adjustments and thinking about the price and around a little group that we are. So for trades, it's
Good.
pretty fun. It's a fun sport as well.
Yeah, good to know he's getting back to you. He's leaving our.
He's on answering our calls.
Well, he's not. Oh,
He's doing a pretty good job.
He's doing. He's
okay.
we're in good communication.
Yeah, but if you want to add us,
pretty good on this side.
Yeah, you can add us to your group chat. Yeah, we'll just.
Yeah.
But let's.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't have you on the show without bringing up our draft last year and just kind of getting an idea of how some of our guys are doing. I know El Khoury was the I think offensive player of the month in October in the Quebec U18, and I saw the Nikash has already matched his points total from last year. So just give us an update on how those guys are doing, because I know it's easier for us to pay attention to the Batchelder in West Kent and Will Cole in the Valley and Max Hanley in the Valley, but how are some of our Quebec prospects doing this season?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just saw Nico last weekend, not the week, 2 weeks ago, and he's doing extremely well. He's using his speed a lot. He really plays like a true veteran out there. So his production, I like the way he put the effort in, and the compete level he has right now is really what we want him to be. And over the top of that, he's putting stats, which is good, but what we want from Nico is really him playing the right way all the time. So I think he's moving into that direction for sure, and he's the speed he has and the asset that he has around with the puck is tremendous. Like his value is very high for us for sure, and a bit the same thing with Neshak. Neshak been just one of the top D in the under 18 AAA for us. I mean, he's not a quarterback. He's just a general out there on the. He logs a ton of minutes. They have a good team there in Saint Eustache, so he takes a lot of minutes. He plays PK, power play, all the situation. He's very efficient and he can play pretty much against anybody in under 18 AAA right now. So. that's our first two guys in Quebec right now. One guy we hear very good stuff about is Victor Maurice Touche. He's
I was going to
playing,
mention.
he's playing in Bourget, which is kind of a prep school type of
Hmm.
program. It's just on the border on Ontario. So I didn't see him personally, but we have a few scouts and a few not player, people that we know that's like seen him play, and he's getting some eyes opening right there. So that's pretty positive about him as well.
Yeah, it's like you guys know how to pick them. That's
Yeah, well,
last couple
we
drafts, whether it's early or late, you guys just seem to hit on value, and that's what you need when you're building a team. Few years out.
well there's there's a little bit of, I wouldn't say luck, but I would say like we do our homework well, and then we end up looking for specific qualities that with some players are there, and sometimes we hit, sometimes we miss, but those guys right now, most of them are really on the right track of being successful, and it's going to be a battle, and it will help us when we will lose those pieces to be better at the year and then as soon as next year and continue to be good year after year. So that's important to have some depth as well. It will help us as well. So good. Sorry for the dog.
No worries.
We're a pet friendly show.
Yeah, we're a pet friendly show. I guess just the last one for me, and obviously we're going to talk about it here in a little bit with the news of the NCAA CHL approval that came out. A guy like Jacoby Weiner. Is that going to make your job necessarily easy, more difficult? Nothing really moves in terms of now you don't kind of have to compete with that NCAA because the guys have the options at the age of 15, 16. Does that make it a little easier, harder? How does that differentiate for you as a scout in looking at these kids and talking to these kids?
I was listening to Taylor on the broadcast yesterday of the game. He was speaking with Marty about it, and I think our program can compete with any program of developing hockey players,
right,
or that age group any day. Like you bring any guys, and we think right now that we can be one of the best CHL team and one of the best program all around in North America. That's been what we've been. So um, it's does it making better, harder? For sure, there's one thing that's going to be easier is nobody can say I'm keeping my option open because that's not an excuse that will work. We still want guy that will want to be in Moncton, so we won't force anybody, and we will have to chat with these players and see how much they are interested. But the 48-hour rules or the excuses are not going to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on that point of view, it will make it, where I think it will make it the more easier. It's once we draft a player and he comes to camp, there will be no excuses not playing exhibition game and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
So as soon as he's there, it's going to be easy.
Yeah, it's going to be our job to keep him here and get him into games and see what he looks like. But Alex, that's we appreciate all of your time and all the hard work. Are you going to be in Moncton this weekend?
Yes, I'll be in Moncton. I'm coming in on Thursday for the start of the game, so it will be a short night that night because we're driving early in the morning from Quebec City. So we'll be there for noon or around that.
Okay, well, wherever you sit, we'll sit one here and one here, and we'll just listen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not talking a lot during day. That's something that you want to know. Like I usually, and the Monctonian goes fast. There's a lot of games and a lot of player to watch in a small amount of time. So I'm just going out there and we just try to catch a little bit of every player.
Yep.
At least that event in Dieppe gave us the majority of the top 15 years old. So we just try to see where they are now, and then that prospect game on Friday night give us an extra viewing of 15 years old, and then we will be able to do a little list to start the process and move on which player we will continue to follow closer and some that maybe are less close right now.
All right, man. Well, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight, man. Hopefully,
anytime. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
I didn't even realize you're already on the Starbucks. You get a
Yeah.
free drink on the 14th, eh?
It's
What do we
14th
got
is
today?
Red Cup Day.
Oh, Red Cup Day.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's one of those reusable cups that you can that you basically get for free with your
Right.
purchase. So you know,
what do you got in there?
I'll be there. This is a peppermint mocha.
Yeah.
This is I'm a peppermint mocha
The Boucher
junkie.
drink of choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to make them homemade, and oh yeah, I'll drink these are like my pumpkin spice lattes of the Christmas season. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously I don't think he said anything we weren't expecting.
Nope.
But again, if you're going to the Monctonian as a fan looking to try and find the top guy, like I want that guy, he's the best player on the ice. We're not necessarily going to be picking around that guy, and you're looking for the depth guys, the role guys, and Moncton has had an unbelievable run in the past 3-4 years of finding those guys in the later rounds, or even like Batchild or Elkery, like they fell to him early on it. But once you get into the later 7, 8, 9 rounds, Moncton's been able to find those pieces, and they've hit more often than they missed.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I can tell you right now, like with a guy like Elkery, when Moncton was able to pick him,
yeah,
I'm sure there were teams that were coming up to the Wildcats table saying, "Oh, you
SOBs,"
you know, yeah, it was
yeah.
like we wanted him so bad, and he's just going to be one of those guys, and you know, it's very promising. You know what we've got, and they're doing the right thing with development, and you know, you got Batchilder playing, you know, every night with West Kent, Will Cole, smaller.
Every
goal.
time I open Twitter, Will Cole's got a highlight, a real save.
Yeah.
Like
not necessarily playing every night because it's junior A, so they flip flop. But you know, as a 16-year-old, he's putting up pretty respectable numbers. You know, given that he's playing against guys that are 4 years older, and it's, you know, anytime you can get 16-year-olds playing junior A, it's only going to expedite your development, because you're coming in the next season, you know, having the experience of already playing against guys, you know, of that age, right? So there's those are two names that I would definitely be looking forward to as early as next season.
Yeah, we went from a crease we were kind of worried a couple of years ago on what was coming up. Now you've got Farah, you've got the guy from Moncton, his name was just on Cormier, that's played a couple of times, Will Cole, and now with this NCAA news, that throws Jacob Weiner right in the mix. And, you know, he was one of the best goalies in that 48-hour period in the two.
A big boy, too.
Yeah, he's a big boy in that 48-hour period. So let's get into some of the news. And by some of the news, I mean that one piece of news.
News and notes from around the Q.
All right, so obviously the big news of the week, CHL and the NCAA. The NCAA voted and approved the allowance of CHL not being pro players, so they don't have to commit at as early as 16 and be stuck with that. It will begin August 1st, 2025. Basically, if you're not following Mike McMahon CHN on Twitter, he's been all over this news. We're going to have him on next week to kind of talk about what's kind of going on. But
Mr.
McMahon, yeah, imagine. We'll see if he's okay with using Mr. McMahon's music. No chance. That's what you got. He probably, the way that guy is, absolutely, I wouldn't want anything associated with
music on this show anymore.
Mr. Yeah, exactly. All that too. But I think the biggest thing that I take away from trying to use this, and some of the hits are CHL players have not signed an NHL. Every contract will have NCAA eligibility, full-time. They do not receive any compensation, anything like that. I think this just hurts youth sports, and I think this actually helps the CHL and recruitment of the top players. And we've already seen players coming through that are now being committed. I think Kitchener had one. Tynan Lawrence has been reported he might make the jump to Chicoutimi. So, and that's why I asked Alex in terms of Jacob Weiner, like this allows maybe him to come next year and still keep his Harvard status open. And I mean, yeah, it was 48 hours that I saw him play in a scrimmage against guys his age, but he was really good. And you feel good about your goaltending if that's a situation where, you know, you can have him here for 2 years, and then when he's 19, he can go to Harvard and continue his education.
Oh, for sure. Like, and I think we've already seen it paying dividends for a Q team. It was announced on Monday that there was a trade between Blainville and Shawinigan. Shawinigan picked up Olivier Beaulieu, who's playing in the BCHL. I believe he was committed to Dartmouth College. So he's going to be reporting to Shawinigan. So it's already paying dividends in the queue, where there's some, again, don't know if this guy was just, maybe giving up on the NCAA and just, thought maybe the queue would be his best route. But, we're already seeing it paying off in the queue. And, I don't see that being the end. There's going to be other moves that are going to be made. And I think especially some of these teams that are they're going to be all in this year, given like the Wildcats, for example, or Rimouski or Cape Breton, if they can get their butts in gear, I think this is just going to be an easy way for them to pick up some of the guys on not only on their protected list, but as free agents. There's a kid in the BCHL, I believe he's playing for Victoria, by the name of Drew Hockley. He's from Kentville, Nova Scotia. He's a big right shot defenseman, 6'3", 180. I think he's over a point per game in the BCHL as a defenseman. He's committed to Quinnipiac University. Is there a team like a Moncton or like a Cape Breton or like a Rimouski who can say, look, just come join us for the second half of the season, and maybe win a championship, and then you keep your eligibility, right? There's so many options on the table here for these guys, but that was the first name that kind of came to mind. It's just another one that's be local. It's a kid from the Valley. You could easily say, I want to go play in Moncton. I want to go play in Cape Breton. I want to go play in Rimouski. I want to, and go and play your NCAA next year if you want to. It's like Alex said, this 48-hour rule, don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting come draft time, and if we have the chance to have Taylor, Rick on, or other GMs, just you get that reports near the draft of this kid is keeping his options open. He only wants to play here. He's going the NCAA route. He's going here, and that drops kids down the draft board, so they get selected by teams they want to play for, the Halifaxes, the Quebecs, the Monktons, the big markets. Well, now you don't necessarily have that. And I think it helps these smaller markets maybe recruit in terms of guys that are local that we're going to go NCAA. I think where this hurts is the way I'm interpreting it. And again, we'll talk to Mike McMahon next week, is U Sports. I think this kind of maybe hurts U Sports because, NCAA is in a development league with 16, 17-year-old kids anyways. It's more, 18, 19, 20, if they're not going AHL. So I think this just kind of may hurt U Sports. And, I don't think anybody had any preview down the road, but I did mention to you that, maybe certain head coach saw the writing on the wall, and not that he didn't leave because of it, but he thought this is the perfect opportunity to make the jump to win another Memorial Cup and win one for Mr. Irving. But, that could have been maybe something that he saw writing on the wall.
It's very possible. It doesn't, I know it hasn't really taken effect yet, but it hasn't really, seems to be going wrong in UNB.
They keep on trucking.
They've lost a game, but other than that, they're still tops. They're still one of the top teams in the country. So I know it was Gardner had a bit of a effect on that, but it's just, they have a ability to recruit and bring in the best players, and they're even losing their head coach has had no effect on them at all.
Yeah. And some kids are going to want to go NCAA. Some kids are going to want to continue to play near home. And you're just going to have that, but it'll be interesting on the landscape of the CHL and how this changes. But let's get to the Q team of the week. Let's see if I can pronounce all these names. Philip Veilleux from Val-d'Or, 2 games played, 4 goals, 2 assists. Bill Zonin from Marin, 2 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. Hugo Primo from Sherbrooke, 3 games, 2 goals, 4 assists. Loic Uriso from France, apparently, from Chicoutimi, 3 games, 1 goal, 4 assists. And Evan Depate from Val-d'Or. Depate. So the A's and the E's, they get me. 2 games, 2 goals, and 3 assists. Goaltender of the week, we saw him here on Sunday, was Lucas Beckman. He went 1-1 with a .955 save percentage and a 1.5 goals against average, which gave him the QMJHL Player of the Week. Again, 1-1, a 955, 1.51 goals against average. We'll talk about him in a little bit, but I have zero issue with that after watching him play live. Yeah.
Confident goalie.
Confident, and that's kind of what you want.
Yeah.
And I got no problem with a confident goaltender if you make the saves, and he did. And so that was your team of the week, and now we get into the Boucher Q Team of the Week. Might have to get you an intro or a video drop
sponsorship or something.
Yeah.
All right, starting in goal, Nicholas Ruccia in his return to Cape Breton.
I wondered on the Instacast Live, I wondered if that was maybe it.
Yeah, on his return to Cape Breton, he steals both games for the Islanders over the Eagles, and which has caused quite an uproar in Sydney.
Yeah, it kind of put them into a tizzy, I think, actually.
They're if you're a message board reader, you may want to go in and you want some humor to read. Go check out their thread on their board regarding the 2 games against Charlottetown. On defense, we have Louis Alex Tremblay of Sherbrooke. Points on all 4 Sherbrooke goals Friday against Chicoutimi. So 100% point, 100% on the points in that game. And I think it's Blainville. Emmanuelson Charbonneau Joseph, probably the longest name in the league. I love this one because on a night where his team gave up 7 goals, he finished a +2.
There we go. There we go. Well done.
And up front, we have Philip Veilleux. I think I have 2 guys from. Yeah, I got 2 guys from the actual.
And that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
His first career hat trick was Sunday against Blainville.
Yep. Which
is actually his first career multi-goal game. So he did have a 2-goal game in the past. He went 1-1-1-1-1-1-1 3. Sam Oliver recorded his first career 4-point game on Sunday, a member of Drummondville. Nice. And Bill Zonin, 2 goals and 1 assist on Saturday, 2 goals, 1 assist on Sunday.
Nice.
So the consistency is key.
Yeah.
And there is your Boucher Team of the Week.
Yeah, I kind of wondered if Mr. Ruccia would make that Team of the Week. And if you follow Pat McNeil, he had a chat with their GM. And
that was good, huh?
Yeah.
His little 8 tweets.
His 8 tweets.
Calling out some players.
Just fun fact, Pat, you can just put those in the actual thing so they just go in order instead of reading them backwards. But I don't want to say they're in a spiral, but we talked about it, I think, last year and into this year. If there's a team that's going to overpay for winning, they're gonna do it.
There's lots of moves to make.
Yeah.
And there's some. Can't go a show without bringing up Drew Bear.
Yeah. But, he's about 4 days away from giving you $50.
Yeah, it's very true. I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
I could use that.
Yeah.
He's quite confident there in the next month. He says they have a favorable schedule. So we'll see how the Eagles do from here until the Christmas break. Let me see if we can.
Do they actually have a favorable schedule?
I think so. He says the schedule at least eases up a bit going forward. So they're headed on a road trip to Quebec.
Yeah.
So they got Victoriaville, Blainville, and Shawinigan. Yeah. And they have
Shawinigan's no easy slouch.
No, and then they have Halifax, and then Shawinigan at home, back to back against Bathurst, and then Moncton. Of those 8 games, he says they're going to go 6-2. So we'll see if the Eagles go 6-2 of those next 8. And then to finish off the break, they've got St. John, Val-d'Or, St. John, Moncton. So he says they really need to go 8-4 for him to be comfortable for that team to go all in. Because at that point, they would be 16, 13-2.
And they're going to push all the chips in?
They're going to go all in.
That is a panic move.
With a record of 16, 3-2.
Yeah.
But if they lose all these 3 games in Quebec, he says sweeping changes are coming. So I
don't doubt that, to be honest with you. I think Blainville is a tougher game than he's thinking. Shawinigan, it's a 3-4 too. It's Shawinigan twice, Bathurst twice.
So that's our Cape Breton update.
That's our Cape Breton update. All right. Who doesn't love a Cape Breton update? I hope for his sake they do kind of turn it around. it's just something is just amiss there. And they started out like this last year, but you can only find that mojo only so many times. All right, and well, we're gonna get to we got a second guest for the second week in a row. So let's get to the find it here. View from the other bench.
View from the other bench.
All right, the Monctonian is this weekend, as we talked to Alex Gauthier a little bit earlier, where the top prospects from the Q draft will all be here in the Hub City. So what a perfect chance to chat prospects both coming up and into our organization. First up, we are pleased to be, I guess not first up, I'm reading right off my script. We are pleased to be joined by the regional scout for Eastern Canada for Puck Preps, Austin Robson. Austin, how are you tonight?
How's it going, guys? I'm pumped to be back here already.
Yeah. I guess just first of all, you're making the trip out to Moncton.
I won't be able to, but I'll be watching from my laptop on my couch. So it's going to be it would be hard to get there considering there's a couple other tournaments in Quebec happening around the same time that I'm going to try and get out to. But I'll be watching, just not from the rink.
All right, I guess the first question, the hard-hitting question for me, and we've had you on a couple times for mock drafts with Jeremy, and this is your guys' wheelhouse, so I just get a couple names and I try to get information. But looking at your rankings here, the guy that we've heard be talked about maybe getting exceptional status, could be the number one pick in the Q draft in Alexi Joseph. He is ranked number 2 on your list. Explain yourself.
I saw this coming out. All right. Well, I think what people think about when they see him at 2 is that there's some sort of issue with Alexi as a player, and I don't think that's the case here. I think for me, it's a testament to what James has done this year. Mm-hmm. James Ganover. I think this is like a really special player. The last height update I saw him grow to 6 foot, and he's 180 pounds. So I don't think he's as undersized as people think. And in terms of just like motor, skill, shooting ability, I think he just like has it all. Like I haven't seen a prospect this good since I've started for the Q. It's only been a couple years, but I've been watching like haphazardly. And it's just what he's doing for the BK Selects as the youngest player on the team, leading them in scoring. I think he's top 10 in the country in scoring. Like, he's just a really special player. I think the one thing I could say about Alexi from last year when he was like a top 5 player, right, in the league, he hasn't really developed much. Like, I see him still doing a lot of the same things that he did last year. Like, he's grown physically. I think he's up to 6'4", 190 pounds or something. But in terms of like adapting his game, dominating like off the cycle, he still hasn't been doing that. He's still, a lot of his points come off the brush, dominating guys one-on-one shooting. And I haven't seen an adaptability, and that's because I don't think he has to. Like, he's just doing the same things that was helping him score last year. So that's the one thing I could really say about him, but it's not a knock on him as a player. I still think at the end of the day he goes 1. I just wanted people at the end of the day to pay attention to James, because I think that's a really special player that could potentially play now in our league because of the whole rule change and whatnot.
No, it's a good point. We had our Wildcats Head Scout, Alex Gauthier, on before, and he said this changes everything. It's this 48-hour rule is pretty much down the drain now with this change. But looking at your list, tons of guys from Atlantic Canada. There's 5 guys from Newfoundland, I think, in your top 16. Is this like one of the better years that we've seen from our region in quite a while?
It's starting to seem that way. The problem is, I know I always like thinking about my own list because I just watched the Q Cup, right? So those guys are really fresh for me in terms of like the Quebec guys. I haven't gotten like a huge look on them because there hasn't been any like major events. So I am scared I'm putting maybe a bit of them too high, but just based on what I've seen, I think this is a very good Atlantic class, especially from Newfoundland and New Brunswick, especially. They're really strong classes.
Obviously you see I got my Moncton Flyers sweater on, my merch on, as they're hosting the tournament. A couple names that I want you just to kind of talk about as fans are going to be there to kind of pay attention to. And maybe one that might be in our range as Jeremy and I put our GM hats on. We think Moncton's going to be picking in round 4 or 5-ish. First is Mark McPhee and then Jacob Ayu, another huge defenseman from Moncton that plays for the Flyers, 6'6", 180. Just talk about those two Flyers.
Yeah, for sure. With Mark, I don't have as big of like a understanding of his game yet because he was hurt, so he didn't play in the Q Cup. But I did see him at the high performance camp over the summer, where I thought he was one of the better players. I don't think he gets to round 4 or 5. That's where you guys are picking.
Yeah.
But just in terms of what I've seen, he seems like a really good, like, complimentary guy, smart, can shoot it. Those are kind of all the notes I have on him right now because I don't have, like, I think I'm going to get a really good look at him here in the coming week for sure. So I'm really excited about that. In terms of Jacob, I think he has a lot of potential. Right now he's pretty raw. But in terms of, like, say, like a Milo Sturdny went second round last year, I think Jacob is further ahead in his development than he was last year. And he went, like, what, 23rd, 22nd? So I do think there is room for Jacob to grow into a potential first rounder. He does have high-end moments. I've seen him do some crazy things with the puck. But in terms of right now, I just don't think he's put it all together. But I am, like I said, I'm really excited to see what he can do.
I think a player that I'm looking forward to watching this weekend, you have him at 50 on your list, Jesse Dunlap, small defenseman, put up just ridiculous numbers in Bantam last year. I still call it Bantam, so my bad. But, I mean, 73 points in 33 games last year as a defenseman playing Bantam, and doesn't seem like he's holding up at all. At Ross St. Otherwood. What do you like about him to have him in your top 15?
Yeah, Jesse's kind of a weird one because, like, as like a tinier defenseman, I think he's 5'8", 5'9". He doesn't really dominate with, like, his physical tools. I don't think he's that like he's not really explosive. He's not really beating people at the line. He's just so intelligent and, like, how he operates. Like, it's subtle, like head fakes to open up lanes, just moving the puck very well, defending smartly, like angling out bigger forwards. And I think if a defenseman is smart enough, it translates, and that's why I have him so high. I think the ranking right now is still pretty volatile because I have seen some pretty awkward performances from him playing for Brothesay, but at the Q Cup, I thought he was the best defenseman there, so that explains why he's at 15 as of now.
For me, it's not a prospect show if I don't talk about a Halifax Max defenseman because they got those red helmets, red pants, red gloves. They're just easy to pick out. And in talking to Jeremy getting set for this, he said he's one of those guys you either like him on your list or he's not quite on your list. So just talk about Jack Skinnish, defenseman from the Halifax Max.
Yeah, he rules. Like, he's awesome. But, like,
he's one of the ones that has him on his list.
Yeah.
No, I really like him. The thing, like, because I was going between him and Duncan Anderson, the other defenseman for Nova Scotia. They're the two top dogs right now. But what I liked about Jax at the Q Cup, it was like when it came down to, like, playing against the best team, which is, like, New Brunswick, it was him who was carrying the load. Duncan ate against, like, Newfoundland and Prince Edward Island, which is fun, but Jax was the one in the finals who I thought was the best player on that team. And, like, he's all go all the time. So if you're a coach, you kind of have to, like, rein it in. But I think in his last 2 games now, he has, like, 6 points or something. Like, he's really starting to figure it out. So I'm pretty excited about his development. I think at the end of the day, he is the Atlantic defenseman that has the most runway in terms of, like, overall skill and offensive ability.
Yeah. And I guess, you've probably done this a little more than I have, and you put in more hours at the rink than I do. But I like the hidden gems. I like the guys that are, not necessarily on, going to be the top 3, top 4 round guys, but someone that you like, that you think is going to be an extremely good value pick in the upcoming draft. Someone that's going to be a 6th or 7th or 8th round guy that's just going to have
like an Auger,
a Thomas Auger, like a late round player that you think is going to end up being a regular in the queue.
Wow, it's a deep cut. I haven't really gotten that far yet, but I'll figure this from where? Atlantic
It could
or
be anywhere. Just someone that you think is that's not necessarily on. That's not necessarily going to be a top guy, but someone that you like that you might have slotted in a later round. Like
Yeah.
let's say like a third line player, like a 15-year-old playing third line, but he's just got that
Factor.
oomph, that someone that catches your eye every time he steps on the ice, but he's not going to be a high pick, but he's someone that's going to be like a value pick down the road.
Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, I think I see what you're getting at now. One player I really like for New Brunswick is Braden Waterhouse. And I think he plays for the Freddie Caps. He played on a line with Watson and Searchy at the Q Cup, and I thought he was one who was like really digging in the corners. Like he screams potential third liner, but right now the skating is the issue. And I think but skating is the one thing that doesn't really bother me in terms of like 15-year-old hockey players. I think they're always developing, but with him, I think I don't know if he's like a 7th or 8th rounder. It depends how teams see him, but I think with him, he was like the one who I saw that could really carve out like a third liner role. I don't think the offense is there for a top 6, but like the translatability for him is pretty obvious. And I think that will attract a lot of teams. So while he may not be a 6th, 7th rounder, I think he's going to be one of those guys who teams will like, despite him not putting up like huge points anywhere.
Yeah, 5'11", 160, 4 goals or 4 points in 12 games. It definitely
is that it?
Yeah, that's why he's your under the radar guy. I guess the last one for me, and one of the fun things I do like when I was looking through your list there, the top 25, St. John's, Alberta, Quebec City, Alberta. Some of the names of the cities on there.
I thought I fixed
that. Being an Alberta guy, I just kind of giggled at Justin Beaulieu from Quebec City, Alberta. I was like, yeah, I remember watching hockey in Quebec City. But no, I guess what's your schedule like? We talked to Alex, and when a team's getting together, they're coming to the Monctonian, or they're going to the Q Cup, or they're going to all these different tournaments and getting together with their group of guys. And just kind of as an independent scout, what is your, I guess, next month and a half looking like as we get into the Christmas season where a lot of these tournaments kind of happen?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the M17 tournament just happened too, so I'll be covering that from my couch. And the Monctonian obviously is a huge one. It's just there's a lot of tournaments that line up from here until I think it ends in like January with the Ice Jam. But so for the next couple months, I'll be pretty busy. I'm trying to watch more regular season games too, because that's something I didn't really do last year. Because for the Quebec kids, I find it's hard to really get a look on them until September because there's no big events. Whereas the Atlantic kids, this is going to be their second big tournament. Mm-hmm. So it's just about like getting some views on guys and establishing a list early on that I'm proud of. But in terms of like scheduling, I'm doing it all from home. So I just have to get up, make a coffee, watch some hockey, and it's not that complicated really. I have been going to the rinks to watch like I went to a midget AAA game last week, but it's pretty tough to watch when it's happening live. I can't really take notes well. I find it's something I struggle with, so I'd rather do it from home.
I get addicted to the game, and I'm just like, no, I can't take notes down if I'm watching hockey live because it's just a different. It's different.
Just have like good skater down. I'm like, okay, that's great.
At home, you can pause the game and be like, okay, we'll rewind it 10 seconds, watch the play develop, and then just catch up. It's so much easier to watch a game and identify players when you're watching from a computer just based on technology.
And for sure, I'm kind of the opposite. I'd much rather be live in a building for the 2 times I see a player play live. And I don't take notes like you and Jeremy do or scouts do, but just give me it inside the rink, and I'm much happier. But like you and Jeremy and the scouts that do the God's work, I guess, is just I don't know how you guys do it, whether it's watching as many games as you do or going to as many rinks as you do. I guess for people that want to follow you that are new to this show on Rogers or are new to the show on our YouTube, where can they find your content and your articles?
Yeah, so you can find all my work on Puck Preps. We have a pretty solid team over there. We just got done covering the U17 World challenge. We have reports coming out for that. In terms of Q stuff, I'm going to be pumping out some M17 challenge stuff, and obviously the Monctonian that's happening. And I think it's worth a sub because we do great work over there. Everyone else does, not me really, but it's fine. We tolerate it.
100%, man. You get to make me seem smarter than I am, and I get to talk to Jeremy about actual prospects and stuff. So I like to use your information and when I can to make myself seem like I know what I'm talking about. So Austin, we appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have you on closer to the Q draft this year, and you and Jeremy can do an actual mock draft live on our show like we tried to do last year. If you're up for that.
Yeah, you embarrassed me last year, but I'll do it.
Don't worry, we weren't going to bring that. We weren't going to bring the your guys' picks up. So
thank God.
But yeah, man, appreciate you taking the time with us.
No worries, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
It's a true story, though. Like, I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have Austin, and we had Braden on 2 years ago making their scouting reports, and I get to use their lists and make myself seem smarter. But again, he's got a good list. Some of the names from Quebec City, Alberta, just made me giggle. But I'm sure those will be fixed. But it's a fun time to try and catch a lot of good players at this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if you're sitting at home and you think you have a keen eye for hockey, these independent sites are always looking for volunteers. And, if you don't think that their eye catches on with some of these teams, I mean, just use Braden as an example. Yeah. He's a scout with Bathurst right now. Right. Yep. So these guys do a lot of the heavy lifting, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Yeah. Hopefully it's me one day. You never know. We'll see. But
yeah, no, hopefully you don't get too big for the show.
No. That's impossible.
But yeah, like the guys that you go to the rink to watch, the Loshings, the Augers, the Merciers, these guys are in the rinks when they're 13, 14, 15 in the middle of January when it's 2 feet of snow and they don't really want to be in there, and their pen's not really working because their hand's frozen. That's what these guys do. And I can't be ready for a draft without the Austins, the Bradens, the U. So again, it's just good time to watch some good hockey. And if you want to get out to watch what the next group, the prospects game, I think Friday at 7 p.m. That's where all the top prospects are going to play. Yeah. Moncton more than likely isn't going to have a lot of guys from that list in case things change, but it is a good time. And again, hopefully he's come on for the mock draft, and you guys can do that live, and I'll be able to actually put teams on and names on and pictures on and make it look real.
The beauty of technology.
Will
have us. We'll have a much more informative show. Yeah.
And I will just facilitate. I will not make any selections.
There you go.
Because you continue to have this figured out more than I do. Would you like to talk about our team?
Yes.
All right.
Let's finally get to that part.
Weekly Rewind.
All right, the Wildcats go 2-0 on the week, bringing the record to 15-2-2 for 32 points, first in the Maritimes, in the conference, and in the QMJHL. Friday, they got up to Bathurst, got a 5-1 victory. Preston Onsbury had 2 goals for his 100th point in the Q, so congratulations to him. The Wildcats jumped on him early. We've joked about last year the team game started at 7. The Wildcats started at 20 after 7, 10 after 7. Nope. 2 minutes into this game, they were there. They were ready to go. They jumped on them, and they didn't really ever let up on them.
No, absolutely not. Big fan of this effort. Big fan of how they got to Fleming early, given the success he's had so far this season. Yeah. And I think they really took advantage of not necessarily a tired Bathurst team, but just a team that wasn't ready.
Yeah,
they were not ready for the Wildcats, and that's kind of what we want. We want to be able to, especially on the road, is we want to. I was going to say take the fans out of it, but can't really say that when it's Bathurst because there's, it's Ghost. But no, it's
trying.
You want to take the fans out of it,
yeah,
and you don't want to give them anything to cheer about or get them excited. And they did that. 2 really early goals, and they didn't seem to let up. They were, I would say, they probably played 55 minutes, and I've said it before. This team has what it takes, that if you want to play 55 minutes,
yep,
you can.
Yeah.
And it's
just don't play 25 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Don't take your foot off the gas and only play 2 periods. Play 2 point, 2 3/4 if you want to. It's mathematics here, but no, I was happy with the effort. I thought they played well, and like I said, got to Fleming early, which I thought was the key. And
they didn't get dragged in the mud either.
Oh.
Bathurst likes to try and drag teams down, play their style of hockey. You saw it against Bathurst as they went in and shut them out, or against Halifax went in and shut them out. They want to play a particular way, and Moncton was not going to allow them to do that, which is drag them down in the mud, slow the game down, outshot them. I do feel bad for Forte Jondron and Tyler Wood for fighting. I was hoping that it was going to be unclassified, and maybe it won't change on the site, but it'll change in Rio, because if something goes wrong and Forte Jondron has to actually fight, his next fight will be a game suspension, because they basically just held each other, did the dance, and it was called fighting. Like, I don't understand what that was, but it's a tough call for them. But I think this game, I mean, 1 for 4 on the power play still. What did I say off the top? 15-2, and we're still kind of worried about the power play going 1 for 4 tonight or Friday night. Then you got into Sunday. The playoff hype had a feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about wanting to see this team. We had Louis William Gagne talking about them on this road trip. If they can get 500, they went 4 of 6 points. So I think he'd be happy with that. They lived up to it. They beat the Dakar 2-1. I said it on the Instacast. It felt like a game 5 of a series tied, where both were trying to take the momentum of the series as it switched back. And, that's both teams went in, they locked it down, and it very much had a playoff feel to it.
Playoff feel with terrible power play.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'd have to probably
2 for 10 on the weekend.
That's just not good enough. And especially a Sunday, it was I think they had 8 minutes on the power play in the third.
8 straight minutes. Yeah.
And of those 8 minutes, I think they might have generated 2 shots on goal the entire time. I mean,
Poirier had a double minor, Samson had a minor, and they had too many men on the ice.
I just don't understand, given the the guys on this team, how you can only manage to get 2 shots in the power play in 8 minutes. It's just not acceptable. And I was probably saying some words up in the media booth that I should have been saying, and it's a good thing nobody was around, because it's I had some choice words. I was not a very happy camper, but
what
at the end of the day, I don't know if that game-winning goal was a set play or not, but if you can do that again, that would be great. It was.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think anybody saw it coming.
No.
It's Vidicek wins it forward, pushes it forward. Mercier wins the battle of the puck, and just finds Pekarchik going to the net.
Chips it up to him.
It was just one of those. I don't know if it was a set play, a drawn up play, or what, but it was perfect. I don't think I've seen it before.
No, it was a little scary, and Moncton's now tied with Gatineau at 5 shorthanded goals against, and there was a couple chances, like you'll hear about them here in a bit, but Steinman had to make 14 saves, 13 saves on the night, and the biggest one was a 2-on-1 that he stopped Lavoie, I believe, as Malofsky pulled up, got it back to Lavoie, and he wired it. That goal goes in 2-0. It's over. And, Moncton, this one got into, they slowed it down. It was a playoff feel in that first period. And then you could just see Moncton take over, and you could just see him go, this is a 3-4. They're tired.
Yeah.
Put our foot on the gas. Let's win this hockey game. They outshot them 19-2 in the third period.
That was probably one of the better periods I've seen them play.
And was the second power play is the power play that gets the team generally going. And it was a set play. It was a simple win the draw, back to Morin, over to Vidicek, down to or over to Denway, down to Mercier, right out to Gabe Smith. And he's standing in the slot, in the hub, where I had told him to put a guy all the time, and Beckman had no chance, wired it right past him. Just a simple play. And it feels like the first unit is just still stagnant. I know Loshing's moving a little bit. Other guys are trying to move a little bit, but they're still trying to get that past to Loshing. And we got to get out of that mindset. And it feels really bad to talk about a power play when we're 15-2, but that's what it
matter.
needs. The issue is they were number 2 in the league, and now I think they've dropped down to number 5 in the league because they just can't get it going.
Like this game should. I mean, this. I know a win's a win. We shouldn't be really be complaining with a win, but this should have been a 4-1 or 5-1 win. Yeah. You know, given the opportunities that we had and all that, and it was. I find it comical the Baie-Comeau fans that came on the Wildcats Facebook page after the game. That was funny.
I didn't see that.
No, it was some good. There's some good reading there
on the final.
Yeah.
Underneath.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to go check that out.
Just basically saying how we paid the refs and all this other stuff, and I mean, try to find one of those penalties that weren't necessarily a penalty. It's
if you want to talk about paying the ref, Gabe's or who was it? Denway's tripping on Bolyard where he touched his pin guard and he just went down.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Guy's got an unbelievable shot and can skate through anyone, and he gets touched and down he goes. But we're not getting into that.
No, it was there was some interesting content on their post game post. So if you haven't had a chance to read that, go.
That's exciting.
Yeah. But hey, 2 wins is what we needed. We got
what do you think you saw from Baie-Comeau? What did you like from Baie-Comeau that you saw? Because you were excited to see them.
Yeah, I mean their top 6. Their top 6 is just as good as anybody else's. Yeah. I think it's right up there with Moncton's, and I think that's their success. And you know, they're going to make a charge here because you know, I think Chicoutimi's, you know, they're still getting their contributions, but you know, without Massé and Kasim Gadet due to injury, I think Baie-Comeau is really going to pounce on that and kind of maybe start running away with that division. So, well, I wouldn't say running away with the division, but they're going to
tight division.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what direction they're going to take. I know there's a player on that team that I wouldn't mind on
Me too.
on Moncton for that second half, but given how they're doing, and how relatively close that that organization is to Rimouski, there's we've heard it before. There's going to be more buyers. Just given that the Memorial Cup is in Rimouski, there's going to be more buyers than we were expecting, and more
buyers in the Eastern Conference too.
Yeah.
I think. Chicoutimi's 28, Baie-Comeau's 27, Rimouski's 25, and you can pencil in Rimouski for buying. Chicoutimi, I think they're looking at pieces.
They're looking at not necessarily older guys. They're looking at guys that kind of fit in their core.
Their run, yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I
thought Baie-Comeau was good. I thought in the defensive zone, I can see why Beckman's having a good year. They commit to blocking shots.
Yep.
And that's what you have to do with a 17-year-old goaltender making the starts. And I said to you halfway through, he's a bit cocky, and I don't mind that. And he's a big guy. He moves well, and they're going to be a good team. Whether they move some pieces now, and you know they feel like Victoriaville, where they had success, went to the final. They're going to flip some pieces, and 2 years from now, they're going to be right back in it because they got some good young guys. And I think Beckman is one of those young guys that they have. Seymour was that Jabaz Seymour. He's a good player.
Yeah,
he was one of the ones that I was looking at, not looking at as a what could we add, because there's a different player on there, and I think everybody knows who it is. I actually got asked if that was his last time at the Avenir Center. And I said, if these two teams meet in the playoff, he will be back in the Avenir Center. Because I'm not getting linked into saying that. So if these two teams meet, that player will be back in the Avenir Center for a playoff series.
I think we'll see him in the not necessarily we could very well see him in the second half.
Yeah, I think there's a small potential of that, and that's one of those big game hunting. And I don't know if we're going to be into big game hunting, but if we are, that's one of them that wouldn't be too bad. Another 5,000, so it's back-to-back games, 5,000 at the Avenir Center. You had set up in the booth at one point. Can we give them something to cheer about?
Yeah,
just like it felt like one of those where everyone's hyped up in the building, but they got away with it. And what it showed is the Wildcats can play any way you want. You want to go a track meet? We got the horses to go in a track meet. You want to go a 2-1, drag it out? Fine. We get up 2-3 goals. You want to try and drag us in the mud? That's cool. We'll play that way and continue to put pucks in the net. Like, it's showing me that it doesn't matter what you want to do. Moncton can play any way they want, and that's what that showed me going from 5-1 to 2-1. It just showed me, and they've now not given up more than 1 goal a game the past 3 games.
Yeah,
Steinman hasn't given it up.
And he's, I mean, what can you say, right?
Yeah.
It's I don't think we could have asked for a better start this season. Yep. That's what we needed.
Yep. We said, just wait till the new coaching staff. Let him play in front of a new system and see what happens. Yeah. And what happened is he's leading the queue. Now he's 3rd, I think, in goaltending minutes, league wide, but it's not hard minutes, if that makes sense. Like 14 shots. Yeah. It's 2 shots in the 3rd period. Like,
just stay in the zone. That's all you gotta do.
Minutes. So
they shut them. They do a really good job of shutting them down. And at this point, it's just a matter of staying in the zone and staying focused, and not skating around like Julie Cat Gaffney or and
nice ball.
But he's you couldn't have asked for a better season from him so far.
Do you know how balanced our top 6 is? Were you on the live when I was talking about it on Sunday night?
No.
So Pekarchek, Vidicek, and Mercier in the past 10 games. So going back to the Chicoutimi game, October 18th, Pekarchek has 12, Vidicek has 10, Mercier has 14, so for 36 points in those 10 games. The top line of Loshing, Sumpf, and Denwyer. Loshing has 10, Sumpf has 10, Denwyer has 17 for 37 points in those 10 games. So we've said it. I've had Vidicek, Mercier, we had Pekarchek on the post game, and I asked playing with your line mates, because it just feels like that line is driving this team right now. And then when you look into the stats of the other line, our top 6 you can put up basically against anyone, and then you've got Smith, Gillard, and Lounsbury that are doing good things on the 3rd line. Like, we have the top 12 that are playing really well and all doing their roles.
Yeah, and it's like, if you look at the stats, like the scoring leaders right now, we don't have a player in the top 10 in scoring, but we have like 6 guys between 13 and 30.
Yeah.
So it's, they're scoring by committee, and like we're getting, like, if you look at Justin Cote, I mean, Justin Poirier is leading the league in scoring right now with 31 points. But like, there's none of his other. You have to look at 14th before we find his next teammate.
Yeah, Malofsky. Yeah.
Right, Malofsky. And it's like, then you have Fauchon that's 2nd, but then his teammates are, his line mates are 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, we have no guys in the top 13.
Yeah.
We have 6 guys from 13 to 30. So it's, I like that, because it's, that shows that we're not a one-line team. We have 2 lines or 3 lines that can contribute offensively and put up the points when we need it.
Yeah, and that's, we joked last year, like, yeah, the number 1 power play is cool and all, but if it doesn't score when it needs to, what does it matter?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened Sunday is, yeah, we've got the 7th power play, so but it scored when we needed to, got the game tied in the final minute, and we went on to win the hockey game. So this week, I joked with you that
we love our Thursday game.
Yeah. I kind of joked with you that it was a trap game. The schedule's not right. It says knock 14th, but whatever. That's November. I joked with you that they were worried Baie-Comeau was a trap game because they were focused on St. John. And it's kind of a joke, but St. John has been a thorn in our side all year.
Yep.
They beat us 3-2 early on. We beat them 8-5, but they came all the way back to make it 6-5, I think. Then we got 2 late ones, and then we beat them 3-0 early in the year. So they've been right with us. They had a tough road trip going through Quebec, losing 3 in a row. But this is not a game or not a team that you can kind of look past because St. John's been a thorn in our side, and it's a Thursday night.
Yeah,
it's the 3rd time in a row against St. John.
We've really got to put it. We've really got to get it down. Be ready to get down to business here Thursday. It's I don't want to be up there on Thursday night complaining like I did on Sunday, because it could be even worse. No, I mean, looking at the schedule, it's pretty light week. And when I say light, I don't mean on the teams. I mean, there's it's nice that we don't have 4 games in a week.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Let's put it that way. It's two games in a week is nice. One at home, run on the road. It's on a back-to-back. There's, they got Friday off. So it's I like the schedule. I think we'll be at both games.
There's a potential we'll be at both
I
games.
think we're going to be at Charlottetown on Saturday. So
we'll be at Thursday for sure.
Yeah, Thursday for sure. Possibly Saturday in Charlottetown. We'll be there. But no, the St. John game. It's like they're almost like the ghost that's
they just
the ghost that's scaring the cats right now, and you've got to just go out and put it to them, and just don't let this game
let this one be the 8-1.
Yeah, like go out and pad your stats, and just that's it. Don't let them in this game.
Yeah.
Don't let them in this game. Don't let it be close, because if it's close, their confidence is going to grow, and it's going to make St. John plays hard. They've got guys there that they don't care, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they care, but they have nothing to show.
They're playing with house money.
They
like no expectations.
No expectations. They're playing with all heart, and we just got to go and just put it to them. Pad the stats, run up a score.
Yeah.
Do what you can to to make people forget about those that almost come back at the Avenir Center, or the overtime loss in St. John.
Yeah, and they're coming off obviously like the road trip. So the first game at home is generally the toughest, and play it just like you did against Bathurst.
Mm-hmm.
You jump out early,
and
you just continue to roll, and it's going to be tough against a Gravel, which they don't play. St. John doesn't play till Thursday, so he's likely to go. And then Sunday or Saturday, you've got the first one of a 4-game road trip. And again, the weird schedule where they had 5 on the road, 1 at home, 2 on the road, 2 at home, 4 on the road, 2 at home. Like a bit of a weird schedule for him, but it's 2 tough divisional opponents that you can't look ahead for as they get set for another Quebec road trip here. Mr. Boucher, are you ready for everyone's favorite part of the show?
Oui.
All right.
Eric Murray, realtor, buy our house from him. Stick tap of the week.
All right. So before we get into the actual stick tap, I do want to do kind of an honorable one.
Yay.
So back for another year, back by popular demand, the New Country 969 flight to the North Pole.
Oh, yeah.
In which you can go onto their website and sign up, and either one adult and one child, or 2 adults and 2 children can win a chance to take a flight to the North Pole. So I know I'm already on there. I'm going on there just to meet Santa Claus. I don't know about anybody else.
You got to go up there to see if he'll be on the show again.
No, that's it. Do a live podcast from the North Pole.
Go.
But no, on topic. Last Thursday, this is a hashtag, not a sponsor, stick tap of the week, but Noodle Box opened on last Thursday. I had the opportunity to go there on opening day, and very impressed. I'm a big noodle guy, big rice guy, so I like my butter chicken. I like my pad thai.
Yeah.
So this is my spot. Very friendly staff. Food portions are there. It's not expensive. I mean, you can get a nice big bowl of pad thai for $15, which I think is respectable, given that there's a certain food truck around town that likes to charge $20 for a big thing of pad thai. So no, this place is located on Mountain Road, where the Lounsbury's is, right next to Lounsbury's with Bank of Montreal and Shoppers, and open to 11 o'clock at night, which is going to be extremely dangerous when you get some late night cravings. No, I recommend everybody go check it out. It's very good food. Love it a lot. They're open. They're new, so be patient with them. If it takes a while for your food, don't get upset. It's they're going through the motions right now to make sure everything goes well, and so if you're waiting for half an hour like I did, don't worry about it. It's going to be well worth the wait.
It is what it is.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the Remax Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
Have you tried Stacked yet?
I have not.
No. It's really good, actually.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool. You go in there and instead of standing inside and waiting for a table, you can go on the app or go on the website.
Okay.
And they text you when your table's ready.
I like that.
Because we're going in there and we're just kind of waiting because first time process. And then these people are coming from like their cars and just walking by, and the girl's like, "Oh, we have your table ready." I'm like, "What?" And then Layla saw the sign that said, "Yeah, you can sign up for the app for the waiting, and you don't have to stand here and ask how long it's going to be and blah blah blah." So, yeah, it's a good place to eat, and I have coupons if you need them in the middle of the week.
Ooh,
once you learn to read
coupons.
like I do, like I need to, I took the coupons. I was pumped for it. I gave her the coupons. She's like, "That's for the middle of the week." I was like, "Oh, yeah,
that's how they get you."
Yeah, that's how they get you, making you read and stuff like that. All right, that'll bring us to the Wildcats Wildcat of the Week, presented by Rosemary Lynn Massage and Spa. We're expanding to the teeth whitening coming soon. So if you want to get your teeth white, give them a call here shortly. As well, don't forget they have the loyalty card. Buy 9 spa services, get 1 free, or call them at 506-830-1224 or visit them at 1224 Mountain Road. The backbone of this team for the past 2 games. He was the Q player of the week last week. He had 37 saves on 39 shots. Wasn't the busiest on Sunday against Baie-Comeau, but when he needed to be big, he was big in stopping that 2-on-1 on one of our power plays that we gave up another short-handed chance. 1 goals against average, a .944 save percentage. Like I said, a big save. Keeping that game 1-0 for the comeback. The Wildcats Wildcat of the week is number 1, Jacob Steinman. That's it for the show. That'll do it for us. Again, a big thanks to head scout of the Moncton Wildcats, Alex Gauthier, for joining us. Austin Robson from Puck Preps, getting you set for the Monctonian. That goes Thursday till Sunday. The top prospects game is Friday at 7:00 at the Greenfoot Center.
Greenfoot Energy 4 Ice Center, I think is what it's
called
called now. Yeah.
So much for the propane plex.
Yeah.
So close.
Lost our sponsorship.
Yeah. Our non-sponsor sponsorship. Dang it. Again, don't forget the Sea Dogs are in town tomorrow. It is NHL night, so wear your NHL jersey. Commit that jersey foul. Now, like I said on the live, if you got a Garland, a Barbashev, a Pelche,
yeah, those are points.
Those are points. You can wear those, but wear your Spence in LA. Wear those jerseys. And if you're getting tickets and you have the Hometown Reward member app, check it. There are discounts from now till December 31st. If you're not, download the app and you will get tickets at a discounted price.
Extra points if you have a Johnny Oduya Chicago Blackhawks jersey.
Yeah. Keith Yandel, Arizona Coyotes.
Ooh,
that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Davis Savard, Columbus.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one. Yeah. I mean, people might have a Montreal one, but Columbus.
Or a Stephane Goulet Edmonton Oilers jersey.
Oh, yes. Or a Philip Deneau. Or no, he didn't play this. Philip Deneau, Kings.
Kings, yeah.
That was another one.
Yeah.
I was thinking David Darnay, but he never played for the Wildcats. He played for Chicoutimi.
Or a Jean-Francois Danfous New York Devils jersey.
Oh, if you can find if I see that in the crowd, absolutely, that is a perfect find as well. We'll be on the Q103 Go Home Show with Brock Gallant this Wednesday, letting you know what's going on with the Wildcats. For Jeremy, I'm Adam. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.
Starbucks, exactly. Oh.